It's hard to believe it's been 8 long years since I joined my favorite anti-hero Kratos through the conclusion of his rage-filled quest to destroy the gods. Yes, he took out the Titans and also most of Greece with them in the process, but Kratos stood tall above his fallen enemies, aka everyone. Initially, I felt cheated by the open-ended way we left Kratos, a bloody trail leading off into the distance, the only thing remaining of him. Over the countless times I've replayed the series though, it made more and more sense to me that Kratos would survive. A man fueled by pure rage for so long and had delved into the lands of the gods would be able to survive what would seem to be fatal wounds by mortal standards. Still, the open-ended nature of the finale of the original trilogy left me wanting a follow-up for many years. I thought I'd never get one. Replaying the first 3 time and time again sated my lust for video game sex, violence, and screaming bloody murder at the sky. But once you've opened Pandora's box or murdered Zeus for the 9th time, you begin to crave something new. Yes, God of War is one of my all-time favorite series, but there's only so many times you can rehash a story before you become numb to the greatness of it. You can imagine then my absolute glee when I got the message that there was a hands-on session with God of War, and I'd been tapped by COG to go sit down and see what's what. Full disclosure here, God of War is one of my personal favorite series ever, and I tend to dream I'm a Viking. To me, God of War is the perfect blend of 2 of my favorite things. Sitting down, gripping that controller, taking a deep breath and hitting new game only helps reinforce that idea. The Kratos you meet when God of War opens isn't the Kratos you last saw. The rage-filled murder monster of old is gone, and a bearded and bitter ghost of Sparta greets you in the opening frames. The grizzled face and tortured eyes of Kratos set the tone for the game, one of the many new facets of the 4th installment. The tone of the game has changed to match our hero, as Kratos tries to teach his son Atreus how to survive in this cruel world. The warrior has to now be a teacher, something he's unfamiliar with. Showing affection, being kind, teaching lessons, these aren't the things Kratos is familiar with, and we see him struggle with this new chapter of his life. Those tonal changes are mirrored in how the game plays. In short, it's changed dramatically. Don't worry, there's still a ton of violence to revel in as Kratos hacks, slashes, and rends his way through a horde of foes. However, the gameplay is much more subdued in contrast to the frenetic pace of the previous entries. An over-the-shoulder camera and some assist from your son's bow make the battlefield a much different place than it was in Greece. Even the way you explore is different. The jump is gone, so the exploration of the world becomes dependent on teamwork with Atreus. The smaller human can clamber where Kratos can't tread, and has to aid his father into getting into many areas. It's a game style that many will be familiar with if you've delved into The Last of Us. But the addition of it to God of War completely changes the way you play, and gives a new feel to the game as much as the setting does. Adding a 4th installment to any franchise is tricky. It's not enough to just try to engage old fans with a new setup. You need to grab your audience, new and old, and make them pay attention. From the opening frames of God of War, they had my attention. Emotional and taut, this wasn't exactly the Kratos I'd been expecting. Even after a couple hours of wandering the Scandinavian landscape and battling Draugr and other beasts, that intimate tone never left the game. This wasn't the Kratos I knew. This is a warrior who had left the carnage behind him and was trying to make a better life for his son, hoping his offspring never had to endure the life he was forced to lead. Even as Kratos teaches his boy the ways of the warrior, there's an almost begrudging way about it that tells you he wants more for his son. The emotional connection that grew between me and the most violent of anti-heroes as I continued to play was strange. Welcome, but strange. The ultimate reason for these hands-on events is to create buzz about a game before its release. I hardly think God of War needs any help flying off the shelves, but allow me to do my part. God of War looks amazing. The change in style, tone, and pacing does the series so much good and will pull you back into the world of Kratos and won't let you go. The gameplay is fun and familiar, but different enough to feel unique. The plot's a slow burn that features all of the best elements of Norse mythology with a unique God of War spin on them. What I'm getting at is that God of War already has me. Hook, line, and sinker. If you're a fan of the series, prepare your wallets. If you're new to the series, prepare your wallets. The emotional levity this game brings to a title known for its violence makes this one of the most well-rounded games I've touched in a while. Somehow, a bitter Kratos may be even more appealing than an angry one. For more on God of War, check out our standalone gameplay video featuring combat, exploration, and upgrading. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. For more on God of War, subscribe to COGconnected. And for news, reviews, features, and more, visit us online at COGconnected.com.
Well, don't look now, but our friends who were hiding in the trees are back for more. Go on, give that axe a twirl.